Hello, welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Deliver Us from Evil. I wish I could deliver myself from the evil that was seeing this film in the first place. The commercials looked promising enough, but unfortunately I was left completely disappointed with Deliver Us from Evil. Let me just go ahead and start with the negatives, because that's a lot longer of a list than the positives that I thought of. So the biggest downfall of the film is the writing. I could have written a way better script, and I've never written a proper script in my life. The dialogue was so terrible in this movie. Just completely terrible. Oh, it was pretty cringeworthy. And as much as I wanted to invest myself in the story, I couldn't. I was taken out time and time and time again by the writing. It was laughably bad. And I think the writing might have affected the actors, because even with the cast like Eric Bana and Olivia Munn, terrible acting. Okay, that's a little harsh. Not terrible, but definitely not good acting. They were trying to do these Italian New York accents that just weren't working at all throughout the film. And again, it just was so unbelievable. And a big part of me thinks that these actors just could not save the writing. So I'll cut them a little bit of slack. But just throughout the entire film, none of the human interactions really felt natural or believable at all. And I couldn't get on board. Just from those two things alone, completely removed from the movie. The next biggest thing that caught my eye from the very first moment we're introduced into this film is that the cinematography looks so cheap. I know they had a pretty decent budget, and they should have spent it, because this movie looks bad. I don't understand the concept of spending money to make the movie look cheap. And I know it was a purposeful thing, because there are aspects of this movie that look great. And you think, wow, if we could just get this nasty focus of the camera and the weird shading of the film out of here, we can see these properly, and we can focus more because we can actually see what's going on in a clear view. It looked cheap, it looked bad. Ugh, I hated the way it was shot. And also the sound mixing and the sound editing were very choppy and kind of weird, and they disrupted the pacing, so that added with that nasty dialogue that we had to hear the entire time. Just, ugh. Not the most pleasant of experiences. Finally, the movie really works as sort of a crime drama mixed with horror genre. And the crime cop action was terrible. Eric Bana was a bad cop. And I know this was based off of a book, which was supposed to be a true story. I really hope this is not how he acted as a cop when he was in the force. Because it was bad work. It was bad detective work. It was bad, actual just cop fundamentals. Don't stick your hand inside of a prison cell. But yeah, so they were just unbelievable as cops. And there's a lot of fighting because of this cop storyline. This was terrible. Terrible fight choreography. Again, laughably bad. This is the worst fight choreography I have seen in a very, very, very long time. So, yeah. What was actually good, if anything, about the film? Well, luckily, there are some good elements to the film. One, it also leads to being really frustrating and kind of as a negative, is that there were some definite creepy images. You had the creepy imagery, you had the vibe working at several spots throughout the film. There is a good horror movie waiting inside of this film, just muddled by all of that mess. But there is good there, and there are creepy images, and there are some scares throughout the film that I just wanted to see more of. I wanted those brought out more, and remove the cinematography that was used as well so that you can see them properly. I thought the main guy who played the main demon was fantastic. So he's the exception to that acting role, because I don't know how much he acted, but he just embodied that really creepy vibe. And let me just tell you, he was creepy throughout the whole film. He was probably the creepiest part. And when we actually get to the exorcism at the end, it is one of the coolest, if not completely the coolest, exorcisms I have ever seen. I really enjoyed it. Like, that last portion with just the exorcism was fantastic. If you had just shown me that, I would have thought I was in a great movie. I was genuinely, you get like scared of the demon, like he's gonna kill somebody. He is vicious compared to other exorcisms where they just kind of like punch and scream and say nasty things. No, he was a terrifying demon, and I loved it. The imagery they gave to him with the makeup was fantastic as well, and just really added to that effect. And I really loved the priest in his role there as well. He was in that demon's face. Usually they're kind of like forward and stern. No, he was coming at that demon. No nonsense. And he used the things like his cross and his holy water as weapons in there. And I just loved it. It was a completely fresh take. It felt new. It felt exciting. And it wasn't like any other possession scene I'd seen before. So major props on the possession scene. It did salvage a big portion of the film for me. I also thought the music was really creepy. So they edited it weird, and they put it kind of in awkward places, but the music itself was really pretty creepy, and it helped really mold the mood. And I know horror films always rely on great music to mold that mood, but I think it did a really good job. And finally, I think the overall story was interesting. So yes, the writing was terrible, but they had a good story to work with, and having the juxtaposition of the cop drama and the horror film-esque stuff moving along throughout the film, I think kept my interest. So although you heard that long laundry list of things I didn't enjoy, I was still interested throughout the film, and it still kept me engaged, frustratingly engaged. And I think it's just because it did have a strong story. It did keep you on your toes. And it ended up explaining even some minute random stuff throughout the whole movie. So I would get frustrated at something, and then it would explain it, and then I would get a little less frustrated. So it did tie up loose ends. It helped you understand, and it had a purpose. Some of it was very trivial, like the reason that they play the Doors music throughout the entire film. Very trivial, no meaning, but at least they tried, and at least they tried to make sense and make a coherent film that tied up all the loose ends, so I appreciated that. Overall, this is a scary movie that is not very scary. I think having the crime drama mixed with the horror film robs it of the potential scares that it has outside of those jump scares, and all the bad writing and cinematography rob us of really feeling the effect of the creepy images and creepy moments that we are supposed to feel throughout the film. So I don't recommend this movie. I think 2014 continues to disappoint within the horror genre. I'm still waiting. So hopefully soon we'll have a good horror film. But if you're into horror, rent this when it comes out to Redbox. It's not worth the price of a ticket at a theater. That was my review of Deliver Us from Evil. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you did enjoy, don't be scared to go ahead and subscribe down below. I appreciate you so much for watching today, and I will see you next time. Bye.